Thank God it's Friday. It is July 9th, 2021. Thank you so very much for tuning in to Good Morning Grenada. It's another good day to have a good day. Blessed we are to be in the land of the living. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody tuned in to Good Morning Grenada. Those of you on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11, and 20. Good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9, and all the folks joining us on Party Grenada and Go to Fet Facebook pages. Trust everyone had a restful, peaceful Thursday night. You're ready to get Friday up and running. You're ready to do Friday to the best of your ability. Not because we're heading into weekend, you'll start to wind down on the energy and wind down on the efforts. No, you gotta keep it full 100. Keep it top now. Handle the scenes to the best. Handle the scenes to the fullest. That's what we're going to do on a Friday, a Monday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Tuesday. Those of us who work on a Saturday, that's what we do. Full 100. Bless up your old selves, all the viewers and listeners across the Caribbean, whichever part of the region you are. Let me see. We're gonna hail up Haiti this morning. We know the situation over there. We're gonna hail up Guyana. We're going to say a special good morning to the residents in Anguilla, those of you in Belize, as well as residents in Aruba. All right, that's the 5 islands we big it up this morning. Bless up your whole selves, all the islands in between. A spicy Grenadian 473 morning to each and every one of you. And those of you joining us internationally, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hope you will have a good day, are having a good day, have had a good day. We go to big up the people in Kuwait, coming through in the dance. Switzerland, the Czech Republic, as well as let us big up Bali. Coming true. Telling me what I bring? Coming true first thing in the morning. Listen to me. It may seem funny, but it wakes up the brain. Just try. Just name 5 islands, different islands every morning, 5 islands, 5 countries, and wakes up the brain. Get the brain working, getting the brain cells working. That's what we're going to do. So everybody, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Grenada. Let's go. It's time for this morning's word of the day. No, I always have to put in a little accent. It's time for the word of the day. Oh, great. I crack myself up. All right. This morning's word of the day is fantast. Fantast. It's spelled Fantast. Fantast. It's a noun which means a visionary or a dreamer. Fantast. It comes from via German Fantast, spelled with an F as well as a PH, and they both have the same meaning. It also comes via medieval Latin as well as from Greek, which is an ostentatious person or boaster, or someone who talks about their exaggerated fantasies. Fantastes, spelled with a PH, ultimately derives from the verb which means to make visible, present to the eye or mind. And fantasithai, which is also spelled with PH, means to become visible or appear. Fantast, Fantast, entered English in the second half of the 16th century. The word of the day this morning, fantast, Fantast. It is a noun which means a visionary or a dreamer. An example of the use of the word: the fantast cannot be taken seriously. He does not even take himself seriously. Another example of the use of the word. It would be difficult to describe him adequately. Exuberant in conception and conceit, dignified, a quiet and sublime enthusiast, yet a fantast, a humorist, a brain with a twist. The word of the day this morning, Fantast, fantast. It's a noun which means a visionary or a dreamer. Somebody who dreams and pictures things and visualizes the future, things that he or she can put together in their mind and picture and fantasizable. That's what a fantast is. A dreamer, a visionary, somebody with plans, somebody who, perseveres, and somebody who doesn't let restrictions keep them at bay. I'm gonna put, you're telling me what my definition this morning? Fantast, a visionary or a dreamer. That's telling the brain wake up. Naming them countries, the brain wake up. As you go about your Friday, going into the weekend, let's see what the thought of today is. The thought for today: between 1,000 yesterdays and 1,000,000 tomorrows, there is only one today. So count your blessings, begin and end each day with hope, joy, love, and peace. Between 1,000 yesterdays and 1,000,000 tomorrows, there is only one today. So count your blessings, begin and end each day with hope, joy, love, and peace. Live for today. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter what will happen tomorrow, please the Lord, live for today. Enjoy your Friday, July 9th, 2021. There will never be another July 9th, 2021. So enjoy it. Start your day giving praises and go out with a positive mind. End your day the same way. Not everybody was able to make it to the land of the living this morning. Not everybody made it to this time, so give thanks and praises for it. Enjoy today, and that's my thought, my wish for you for today, for the weekend. So the thought as we go about this fantastic, fantalocious Friday, the thought of today: between 1,000 yesterdays and 1,000,000 tomorrows, there is only one today. So count your blessings, begin and end each day with hope, joy, love, and peace. All right, let's see what is celebrated today, July 9th. A few things celebrated, but one, I don't know where food concerned, plus I'm excited. Today it is Sugar Cookie Day. Sugar Cookie Day. Arguably one of the greatest snacks of all time, Sugar Cookie Day falls on July 9th each year and provides us with the perfect excuse to indulge in a guilty, sugar-filled craving. They're fun, they're classic, but most importantly, they taste unbelievably delicious. Originating back in the 1700s in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, USA, sugar cookies were initially referred to as Nazareth cookies by German Protestant settlers and baked into the shape of a keystone, their state's symbol. Fast forward a couple hundred years later, and traditional sugar cookies are now a treasured staple amid most households. Though they are outwardly simple, sugar cookies are a popular treat frequently consumed on numerous different occasions. There are ample ways to celebrate this holiday, but do we really need a reason to celebrate sugar cookies? No, we don't. Indulge in a favorite sugar cookie, you know what? For the weekend, parents, guardians, find a sugar cookie recipe and bake with your children. Spend some time with your family. That's how we're going to celebrate Sugar Cookie Day. If you can't do it today, because it's Friday, everybody will be tired later, including Blossom. So tomorrow, please the Lord, Saturday, even Sunday, Sugar Cookie Day. Find a recipe. You can find it anywhere, on the internet, on YouTube, anywhere you look, Pinterest, wherever you look for your recipes, you can find a simple sugar cookie recipe and spend some time with your children, your nieces, your nephews, the neighbor. Yes, you could even spend time with the neighbor, the elderly neighbor, the shut-in just down the road from by you. Sugar Cookie Day. That's how we're going to celebrate it this weekend, by finding a simple favorite sugar cookie recipe and baking with some of our favorite people. That's how we're going to say, oh, it comes true, Blossom. That's how we're going to celebrate Sugar Cookie Day today, but we're going to celebrate it over the weekend when time allows. By Sunday, please the Lord, by Sunday. So today, tomorrow, or Sunday, please the Lord, Sugar Cookie Day. That's how we're going to celebrate. All right, and just before we head into the news, just a heads up, we are expecting some more water over the Southern Caribbean over the next 3 days at least, as another tropical wave traverses the area, so keep that in mind. We are expecting let's say less rain than Tropical Storm / Hurricane Elsa. However, there will be rain, so please keep that in mind. Flood-prone areas, if you need your raincoats, your water boots, your hat, your umbrellas, whatever you need, if you need to just stay inside for the weekend, set up your whole self and stay inside and bake some sugar cookies. We're expecting some water with a tropical wave traversing the area over the next few days, or I should say over the weekend. And behind that, actually, another tropical wave is just behind the one coming. We're in a rainy season. You shouldn't be surprised. So be prepared and keep that in mind as we go into the weekend, go into next week. Please, the Lord, rain, more rain in the Southern Caribbean specifically. So Grenada, keep that in mind. We will get the outer bands of it because most of it is expected to pass over Trinidad, Venezuela, Guyana, ABC Island areas. But we should get the outer bands because of our close proximity to the Tune Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So prepare for a wet weekend, scattered showers, especially in the south. All right, now let's get ready for the morning edition of news. For those of you on radio and those of you on our visual platforms, it's time for a highlight of last evening's newscast. It's Good Morning Grenada on a fantalocious Friday morning. We'll be right back.
A freak accident just after 6:30 last evening claimed the life of Shondell Warren of Duquesne St. Mark. This is the third accident involving a construction truck within the past 3 months. Christelina John visited the family of the deceased and files this report.
A family pulling together at a time of grief to comfort each other. One mother mourns the loss of her son, who tragically lost his life in a freak accident last evening. 21-year-old Shondi Moraine of Duquesne St. Mark's was riding a scooter heading in the direction of St. John when he collided with a construction truck heading in the opposite direction. According to reports, both vehicles met on a corner, and it's believed that this contributed to the unfortunate occurrence. A grieving mother, Natasha Warren, is hoping that someone will reach out to her to help her overcome this shock.
My boyfriend called me from Victoria and we were speaking, and then he say, not an accident I see in there, and they say he's a bike man. Tasha, where's Shandy? I say, I just see Shandy pass down with a bike. So he say, hold on, I'm going to call you back. So he cut off, and then my neighbor come down and tell me, Tasha, sad news. And that was it. I start to bawl, fall down in the road. My pressure go up. My younger daughter was trying to hold me, but you know how it is when you lost a son in that tragedy.
Shondi was the second of 5 children, but her first son. She recalls the last time she saw him and his words to her.
The time I see him is maybe about 3 o'clock yesterday evening. Before he go yesterday morning, he take a gas tank to get gas for the bike because the bike was down for gas for maybe about 2 weeks. So he came, he gave me $150. He said, Mommy, pay the water bill. And when he come back, I said, give your mother $20. She want to bore her ears. And he did give me the $20. And that was the last time I see him. That's about 3 o'clock yesterday evening. Time me and him have a little quarrel. He will never answer me. He will just walk out and go. I will miss him a lot. I love my son, and I will surely miss him.
His sister, still emotional over her brother's tragedy, says it is difficult for her to come to terms with last night's tragedy.
Oh God, that was most of it. And after I get a vehicle and I came up on the scene, and when I reached on the scene, the only thing I saw his foot under the choke, and I started to bawl, and that was all. Even though, despite what we had, he was a loving brother. And I love him a lot, and I will miss him a lot.
Shondi's aunt described him as a calm individual who will be sorely missed. 3 months ago, a construction truck overturned at Egmont Point. A week later, another in the fleet flipped over at Calavini. And last night, tragedy struck. There was no loss of life in the 2 previous accidents. Christelina John, GBN News.
For For Grenadians who were looking forward to having a two-day bank holiday in August 2021, it may be business as usual as Parliament has officially passed a bill that will cancel the Carnival Monday and the Tuesday holidays. For the second consecutive year, Parliament has passed a bill that will cancel the August Carnival Monday and the Tuesday bank holidays. The bill, titled COVID-19 Cancellation of Carnival August Celebrations Act 2021, was introduced by Parliamentary Representative for Carriacou and Petite Martinique, Honourable Kindra Maturin-Stewart.
We have a serious threat to our public health, to our public safety, and we as a government are quite cognizant that the well-being and welfare of our citizens must always come first. And hence, Mr. Speaker, we have taken this bold decision yet again to cancel Carnival 2021.
Quoting the Bank Act, Maturin-Stewart said the observance of the bank holidays will encourage Grenadians to have carnival celebrations and possibly place the health and the lives of the population at risk.
Since we're not having a Carnival 2021, it is my view reasonable and justifiable to also vacate that bank holiday. Mr. Speaker, I believe that if we were to say cancel Carnival and still have the bank holidays, what we'll find happening is in fact what we don't want to happen, which is Carnival celebrations. And we have seen it, Mr. Speaker. And so we have to ensure that as far as possible, we continue to protect our country and our people.
However, opposition leader Tobias Clement, while in full support of the cancellation of Carnival, warned that there should be no special privileges and that the rules should apply for all events, including the Carriacou Regatta.
Remember what happened last year, Mr. Speaker? When maybe some people were given certain privileges to have certain shows and so forth, and then you had a breakdown. I did not hear anything about the cancellation of regatta celebration in Carriacou. Are we going to have that? So how is it that maybe you might have regatta in Carriacou and not have Carnival in Grenada? These are questions that will be asked, because I remember again last year the debacle there, where some people, what protocol was not followed, and who gave permission for this and who gave permission for that. Is the same thing going to happen? I hope not.
The bill will have to be approved by the Senate to then go through the final process by the Office of the Governor-General before it goes into effect. The Emancipation Day holiday, traditionally held on the first Monday in August, will still be observed. Two government ministers took the leader of the opposition, Tobias Clement, to task for his comments made while the COVID-19 cancellation of Carnival Celebrations Bill 2021 was being tabled in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. Despite supporting the bill, the opposition leader seemingly faced ridicule from two senior ministers after expressing his concerns that all carnival-like activities should be cancelled. Gerard Joseph has that story.
Are we having carnival or not? Are some privileged persons allowed to have carnival-like activities during the period similar to that of 2020? Those were some of the concerns the leader of the opposition, Tobias Clement, brought forward as the COVID-19 cancellation of Carnival Celebrations Bill was debated.
Is there some form of hypocrisy in what was just presented? So am I to ask the question, so we don't have no Carnival in Grenada, which is good, but are we going to have regatta in Carriacou?
Responding to Nicholas Steele's request to make their stance known, Clement presented his vaccination card to his fellow colleagues.
Because at the beginning, I for one said, if the trial vaccine were brought to Grenada and they wanted me to participate in the trial, I would have done it.
However, the opposition leader impressed that Grenada must not become complacent despite the vaccination efforts.
Mr. Speaker, we too have to look at the Delta variant. So whether you're vaccinated or not, it will help some, but that may not prevent. So I would admonish that we continue to follow the protocol in all sectors, especially when it comes to gathering and celebrations and large gatherings.
Clement's remarks were met with apparent disdain from Health Minister Nicholas Steele.
If we are in support of vaccines, then when we make statements about vaccines, we make statements in the affirmative.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell also took jabs at the opposition leader.
We had a leader of the opposition, yes? I don't hear his voice. When they are marching in the street and drum being beaten outside there, and people are behaving as if we have an old mass carnival, where is the leader of the opposition?
The opposition leader was ironically lauded as the Christ for the protection of the people.
I ask, when you see something is wrong, wrong is wrong, it doesn't matter where it is. Speak on it.
Presenter of the bill, Kinja Matthew Stewart, highlighted as she closed remarks that Cabinet had already decided all national and public festivals be cancelled. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
The CARICOM standard is being flown at half-mast on the ministerial complex in Grenada as a mark of respect following the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse on Wednesday. An emergency meeting of CARICOM leaders on Wednesday afternoon agreed that, as a mark of respect, the member states of the community and the CARICOM Secretariat will fly their national flags and the CARICOM standard at half-mast for 3 days, beginning immediately, as well as on the day of the funeral. In keeping with this agreement, the national flag on all government buildings are expected to be flown at half-mast for the stated period. CARICOM leaders, including Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, also expressed condolences to the family of the late president and the government and people of Haiti. Prior to the CARICOM meeting on Wednesday, Dr. Mitchell led his parliamentary colleagues in observing a minute of silence during the meeting of the House of Representatives. The Commissioner of Police will soon have the sole power to promote police officers rather than it being left in the hands of the Governor General. The Police Amendment Bill 2021 was first tabled in the House of Representatives on Wednesday and is aimed at changing the Police Act Cap 244. We get the details in this report.
The Commissioner of Police is now being empowered to make regulations which provides for the promotion to the different ranks in the RGPF. According to the Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Keith Mitchell, though the Constitution of Grenada gives responsibilities to the Commissioner of Police to appoint persons under the rank of sergeant, it is not enshrined in the Police Act of 1996.
Mr. Speaker, clearly there's a number of acts that have been in place in our Parliament, passed in Parliament over the years. It turns out after being challenged constitutionally, had proven to be flawed, and this was one case.
Prime Minister Mitchell noted that once the regulations are established, it will then be gazetted.
For example, he may appoint a committee of persons within the law, and it's right, that can advise and deal with the whole question of promotion, the question of the examinations that will be utilized, and other aspects.
Legal Affairs Minister Kinja Matthew Stewart highlighted that the amendment will address the issue of police promotion by strengthening the process, which has become a growing issue for the ministry. From sergeant and upwards, the Public Service Commission is the authority on promotions and appointments. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
The Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority has embarked on a new initiative that will help address the issue of collection and disposing of white goods and bulk waste. Rena Pear Thomas has more.
The authority says it's focusing on the disposal of old television sets, stoves and washing machines and other household items. Twice each month, waste collectors are scheduled to collect these items. Instead of doing so, homeowners only use the services in the months of August and December. Myrna Julian, Communications Officer at the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, says this has created an overload in the collection system during the summer vacation and Christmas holidays.
There is one component, however, which has been quite a challenge for us, and that is the collection of white goods and bulky items. While we offer this service free of charge to every householder, and for every householder to receive this collection service at least once per month, and every householder is offered the service to remove at least 3 large items per month, we are still faced with the challenge of huge quantities of such waste being kept by householders, and we see the problem, the public health issues associated with it.
General Manager of the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, Lyndon Robinson, explains that the drive will not be for the collection of derelict vehicles.
So we are expecting households, and through our PR department, we would push that education to the public and raise the awareness so households would make these bulky items available between the 22nd and 23rd of July for collection from 6 a.m. the morning of the 24th of July. We would not be collecting derelict vehicles. That's not a part of it. And it was mentioned that we are looking at a special arrangement for derelict vehicle in a collaboration between the Ministry of Health and the police that is on stream. We would not be collecting trees, that is this greenery waste.
Senior Environmental Health Officer Andrew Worm says his department is very concerned about the proper disposal of white goods as they create breeding sites for mosquitoes.
These cases, of course, we know that dengue is caused by transmitted by the bite of an Aedes aegypti mosquito, and this mosquito actually breeds in many of these artificial containers. Primarily, I can say the large drums, but we are also seeing breeding taking place in some of those white goods that the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority is currently targeting.
Officials of the Ministry of Health and the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority are calling on homeowners to take advantage of the service, which will begin in the 3rd week of July. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear-Thomas reporting.
According to the World Health Organization, stress is the health epidemic of the 21st century and the driver of many chronic diseases. While some amount of stress is essential for productive performance, excessive stress greatly affects an individual's health and well-being. Krista Campbell zeroes in on stress management for our health segment.
Stress has a different meaning for different people under different conditions. The first and most generic definition of stress was that proposed by Hans Selye. According to Selye, stress is the non-specific response of the body to any demand. It is universally accepted that optimum levels of stress can act as a creative, motivational force that can drive people to achieve incredible feats. On the other hand, chronic or traumatic stress is potentially very destructive and can deprive a person of physical and mental health and at times even of life itself. Associate Professor of Social and Behavioral Sciences at Harvard School of Public Health, Laura Bierzynski explains.
Stress evolved as a mechanism for dealing with short-term crises. So I'm trying to cross the street and I see a car coming at me really quickly and I need to mobilize really fast. I need to be able to behave in a way that's going to help me get out of the way. So that's a very effective system for the short term. And the thinking about why it may be problematic for health is that when you reactivate the system over and over and over again with maybe not enough respite and not enough chances to kind of come back down and restore, then there's what we call physiologic wear and tear, which ultimately can damage some of the biological systems and lead to disease initiation.
The extensive body of research on negative health effects of stress indicates the significance of stress management. The World Health Organization released a stress management guide, which aims to equip people with practical skills to help cope with stress. Here is a brief illustrated introduction to their stress management guide.
First, notice how you are feeling. Then, connect with your body by slowing your breathing and pressing your feet into the floor. Then, refocus on the world around you, the sounds, the smells, and the sights. And soon, you will feel more grounded. This technique doesn't make the storm disappear, but it does keep you safe until the bad weather has passed. Try grounding next time you are feeling overwhelmed.
According to a survey conducted by the American Psychological Association, 44% of adults mentioned that they exercise or walk to manage stress, while 47% indicated that they listen to music, and more than one-third, 37%, spend time with friends or family. This study suggests that stress management is not a one-size-fits-all. It is therefore advised to experiment and find out what works best for you. Krista Campbell, GBN News.
And now we turn our attention to what has been creating a buzz on social media. Let's take a look around the platforms.
This is Social Buzz, where we shine a light on the thoughts and concerns of our online audience. During yesterday's Parliament sitting, Grenada's Health Minister, Nicholas Steele, gave what he felt was a reality to be faced and said whether we acknowledge it or not, some Grenadians will die from COVID-19 if the virus were to reappear in Grenada.
Despite all the efforts of this government, individuals in Grenada will die from COVID-19. And COVID-19 will have its day in Grenada again.
Our online audience give their opinions. Hafiz commented, vaccination does not stop anyone from contracting the virus. Thus, allowing vaccinated persons entering Grenada to quarantine for only 2 days is irresponsible. The virus usually takes about 4 days to show up on the PCR test. Most likely, a vaccinated person entering Grenada will be the one to spread the virus. Debbie commented, still not the best choice of words. Power lies in the tongue. Shanika added, never. We dead already because all you killing us long time with gas price, light bills and everything. Rhonda wrote, well, the statement does make sense, since we will soon welcome back students, cruise ships and tourists. These activities increase the risk of the virus being imported, and it only takes one undetected case to enter a supermarket or restaurant to spread the virus. Our healthcare system, being what it is, cannot cope with an outbreak, therefore resulting in the statement becoming a reality. Let us pray like we never did before. Boost your immune system. Wear your mask and observe the social distancing. God help us all. Another individual commented, that's not something nice to say to your people, being Health Minister of Grenada. This was not proper. You encourage them to do the right things and to be vigilant. My dear Grenadians, brothers and sisters, continue to trust in God, knowing He is the greatest help. And Simone commented, all these people we see on news dying all over the world. What makes us any different? Stay there and make stupidness about a health minister's comment. He is nothing compared to the world fighting against it. Coronavirus is very deadly. I saw Trinidad making fun of the heads every time they comment about the virus. When it broke out and started to claim lives, they blamed the heads. Be wise, people. That's it for tonight's Social Buzz. If you would like to have your thoughts and concerns shared, be sure to comment on GBN's Facebook page.
Imagine having the home of your dreams. Imagine investing in that piece of property you can call your own. Imagine finally doing that home improvement project you've always been thinking about. It's time to stop imagining and start doing. Let the GUT Credit Union help you take the first step with fantastic rates, affordable repayments, and reduced legal fees. Make the move. Get better terms on your mortgage. Use your home equity to make those dreams a reality. Act now. There's really no place like home. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Bruv.
Hello? I can't see you.
What's good?
But I can't even hear you.
Yo.
Hello? Hello? Ah!
Okay, I see you. I'm good. I'm coming in.
Ah, there you are.
Live the experience right now. Enjoy high-quality video calling today. Stream, upload, and share with Digicel's super fast LTE network. Visit our stores today and live the experience today. Digicel.
Once upon a time, we shopped at Wonderland, then Neverland. But we're all grown up now and no longer believe in fairy tales. So now we just shop at Shoes R Us. At Shoes R Us, we stock the latest in shoes, tops, and jeans for the fashion-conscious lady. We also carry colognes and much, much more. And for the modern trendy male, we have the latest brand name shoes and sneakers, Converse, Reebok, Nike, K-Swiss, Puma, and much more. So check us out at our two convenient locations, Melville Street in St. George and Ben Jones Street in Granville. At Shoes R Us, we say, come shop with us.
State-of-the-art Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Get vaxxed, hey, hey, vaccinated. Get vaxxed, hey, hey, get vaccinated. Vaccinated. So wear your mask up, wash your hands up, and practice social distance. This is we chance to advance. Let we fight this COVID at once. So come on, let we fall in line. We want to come back to with social life. There is vaccination island-wide. So come on, let we fight it to protect we and we family.
This is a message from the Grenada Red Cross and the Ministry of Health.
Trends come and go, but jewelry is forever in style. Give a gift that lasts a lifetime. Diamond Intercontinental have diamond jewelry, gold and silver jewelries, engagement rings, wedding bands, chains, bracelets, and so much more. They also carry brands such as Anne Klein and Guess. Why wait? Visit Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store at the Esplanade Mall. Call 440-231234. The number again, 232-1234.
It's time to line virtually one more time. Gemma Rayburn Baines here for Spice Island Cultural Festival, a celebration of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This summer's festival is a celebration of life with food, fashion, music, and culture. Join us online Saturday, July 10th, 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube at Spice Island Cultural Festival. Info, spiceislandculturalday.com.
The Children and Adolescents Ministries of the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists presents Faith is the Victory Gospel Series. Get ready to be blessed by dynamic young preachers. This life-changing gospel series begins on Sunday, 4th July 2021 and continues nightly at 7 p.m. This series will be streamed on Mission Live GND via YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe now. There will be good gospel singing, prayers, special features, and powerful preaching. come hear interesting topics such as faith as a mustard seed, the shield of faith versus the fiery darts, and the most powerful secret weapon. Above all, God will be there through the Holy Spirit, offering the free gifts of salvation. Come one, come all, and hear children on a mission. It will be awesome and amazing.
Introducing Color by Seasons. 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 Color by Seasons.
The digital future of music and copyright in the Caribbean will be discussed by two of the Caribbean's leading experts on the creative industries and copyright, Dr. Keith Nurse and Dr. Erica Smith, on GBN's Green's Music to the World this Saturday, July 10th from 10 a.m. If you are a musician, artist, writer, dancer, sportsperson, craft maker, designer, or someone involved in any of the creative and cultural industries, this is for you. Tune in this Saturday, July 10th from 10 a.m. Green's Music to the World.
Thank God it's Friday. Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It's time for us to enter into the showroom where we feature our local Grenadian talent. For the past few weeks, I have been featuring some of our local authors, and this morning is no different. I call it a career. To me, once you write one book, you ain't sing. So I am indeed happy to welcome into the showroom this morning a friend of mine, an SJC. An SJC girl herself, Miss Alyssa Bierzynski, is my guest this morning, and I am very happy to have her this morning. Good morning, Alyssa. Thank you very much with your little pretty self. I love the glasses.
Thank you, Blossom. Good morning. Good morning to you, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers.
I'm happy to have you this morning, Alyssa. When I started the series with our local authors, I know I had to bring Alyssa on. Because I am happy that you are one of the people, how I should put it, pushing and encouraging readers, especially among our children. So it is an absolute pleasure to have you this morning.
Thank you, Blossom.
We're going to get into Reader's Circle in a short while, but first I want to start with your book. You have a book out which makes you an official author, Carla Dance's Soca. It's a children's book. So tell me about your journey in starting that book. What gave you the idea? Where did the concept come from? And the process from putting first pen to paper to publishing. As soon as we start, the internet decide it's not going to cooperate. Alyssa seems to be frozen, and she froze so prettily. And she's frozen so prettily. Not everybody does get a lucky frozen shot like that. I am intrigued by the shot. Not everybody gets a lucky frozen pretty shot like that. So here's what. Oh, look. If it's me now, my mouth open, my tongue hanging out, I am intrigued. I don't know why, but I'm intrigued. If it's me, it's like, yeah. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay, no, she's back.
I'm back.
Yes, she's back.
I'm back.
She's back.
You'd think that early morning the internet would be, great. But sometimes these things happen.
Technology doesn't always cooperate with us when we want it to. But I was just telling viewers and listeners, your frozen shot was a very pretty shot. Not everybody is lucky like that. If it's me, my lips swing so, my tongue gone so, my eye half closed. But not Alyssa Bierzynski at all. All right, Alyssa. Yeah, so tell us about the process getting to the publishing of Carla Dances Soca.
So since I was a little girl, I was writing all the time. I used to fill notepads upon notepads of books, of my stories, of my adventures. So I always knew that I wanted to write about my adventures. But the book, Carla Dances Soca, is actually as a result of a program that I was part of, an initiative to create more culturally relevant picture books for Grenadian children. So books written and illustrated by Grenadians. And this was an initiative put on by Grenada Schools Incorporated in association with the international nonprofit Room to Read. So I was part of the second cohort of authors. So it was a week-long writing workshop. And then there were 12 of us, and they selected 7 stories to move forward for publishing. And Carla Dances Soca was one of them. So we actually wrote our own stories in 1 week. So it was a week-long intensive writing, learning about children's literature and writing for children. And the result is this book, one of 7. Well, it's 13 titles in total now that have been distributed to all primary schools in Grenada. So it's really cool when little ones come up to me and say, "Did you write my book? I have your book." I don't think I'll ever get over that feeling.
I like that. Why children's books?
Well, I think it's important for children to develop a love and a passion for reading. It's important for adults too. But if we can start with children, then they grow up reading, so they will always love to read. As a teacher, I used to be a teacher, and I guess I'll probably always still be a teacher. But when I was teaching full-time, I always asked my students in the beginning of the term, we might ask you what you want to be when you grow up, but I always used to ask, what's your favorite book? And it used to break my heart a little bit that my students would say, I don't like to read. I don't have a favorite book. I just read my textbooks. But you're missing out on so much. And if we can get our children to read more, then it develops their imagination and it sparks curiosity. And we need more curious people in the world, to solve problems and to just be more interesting.
I agree. I'm a reader, so I know exactly what you speak about, especially when people say they don't like to read, and I know they're missing out on, whether it's fictional book or based on facts, it's always interesting to lock into that world when you're reading. And then you also have a program called the Reader's Circle, which is something that I am so happy about because it encourages readers. Tell me how that project came up.
Okay, so the Reader Circle is another initiative with Grenada Schools Incorporated and GIS. And it was Grenada Schools Incorporated. They built and refurbish. Well, that's part of their mission, to outfit every primary school with a library. So in some instances, that might mean refurbishing the existing library or building the library from scratch. So we had these beautiful library spaces to host the shows in the Reader's Circle, and every episode was a different author from the Room to Read program, the GSI program, as well as 2 other authors. So there were 15 books in total that we put the spotlight on, and just encourage children again to read and to develop that love for reading, that you don't always have to be reading for a purpose, but that you can be reading, that reading is fun. And the benefit of it is that you learn something along the way.
I know what you mean. You don't have to read for a purpose. You could just be reading for fun. I like that. Let's say, okay, right. So from writing, publishing Carla Dances Soca to your involvement in the Reader's Circle, how much have you seen our children gravitate to reading and actually start to get excited about reading?
Oh, definitely, a lot. Children love to read, and once they have access to books, and especially once they have access to books where they can see themselves in. That's why it's so important that we have to tell our own stories, that they can read stories about, and I know this music, I know soca music, I like soca music, I like to fly kites, I like to go on the beach. Because when you can see yourselves in the stories that you love, it makes it easier for you to gravitate towards it, as opposed to always reading about characters who don't look like you, who don't sound like you, who don't have the same experiences as you. So, we like to say representation matters, and it is so true. It matters a lot. And as we get more Caribbean literature out there, and we push more Grenadian stories that students have access to, children have access to, then I think we're going to see an even bigger push towards reading and literacy development. And I always say that if you want to become a better writer, you need to read more, because that's the only way that you're going to really learn how different ways of expressing yourself, by seeing how other people express themselves.
And I like the fact that you speak specifically about being a writer, because in addition to Carla Dances Soca Reader's Circle, you also have a blog that I like, The Adventures of an Island Girl. I like reading your stories, Adventures of an Island Girl.
Thank you.
Always have me giggling. How important is it for you to document your adventures, and why do you feel that it is necessary, in addition to putting out representation for our children? Because Adventures of an Island Girl is some real adventures. It is beyond, well, COVID stopped the adventures, but some real adventures it has beyond,
I know. I was just thinking the other day that I jumped out of a plane, but the 4x4 off-roading is something that I don't want to do, but I have jumped out of a plane. It's
wow.
Awesome. Don't look at me like that.
Wow. A perfectly good plane. You voluntarily heave out a plane.
Yeah, in the seconds leading up to that, that's exactly what I thought. A perfectly good plane, and I'm going to jump out of it. Go ahead. But the blog started when I moved to Washington, D.C. to do my graduate degree. And after the graduate degree, I was doing my internship, and I was working in events, and I was traveling throughout the U.S. working for these events. And people couldn't keep up. What city are you in right now? And I thought, well, let's put this communications degree to work. Let's write a blog. And so I started the blog Adventures of the Island Girl. And it was also a case for, at that point in time, I wasn't Facebook friends with my mother. So, she had to keep up with what I was doing. And so it just evolved. I always wanted to do travel writing as well. And so this was an opportunity for me to share my adventures with people and keep writing, to give me an excuse to write, to give me an excuse to explore, and to also share a little bit of the world with people at home. And you don't often find Caribbean travel bloggers. So when I went to a travel bloggers conference just in 2019, I was like, a novelty. It was just about 3 or 4 of us there from the Caribbean, because when you think of travel bloggers, you think of people from North America, from Europe. You don't think of people from our region, which is incorrect, because we have so much talent that we can just share with the world. Like, more people need to hear our voices.
I agree. And with Carla Dances Soca, your next project, tell me about your next project, as well as any plans of actually publishing Adventures of an Island Girl, because it's mostly for people with internet access, Facebook access, but what about the people who don't have access to that? I think they'll be interested in reading your adventures as well.
Oh, thanks. So I'm working on... One of the things that we did was that we wrote 2 stories during that week-long workshop. And so my second story still needs to make it out into the world. So I'm working on refining it, and then I will go through the process of finding an illustrator to really bring that second story to life. I've also... In the vault, I have so many stories that I've written that no one has seen yet, but I think it's time to bring them out there. In terms of writing for adults, so the Adventures of an Island Girl will be for adults, and yes, it is something that I have thought about to put it into a tangible, something that you can hold and turn the pages. So I don't know, I'm not sure what format that will go yet. If I'll do it like a fictional something, or if I'll do it more memoirs, essay based, but it's something that's there. And as I put it out into the world now, it means I have to work on it. So thanks, Blossom.
Exactly. I'll be keeping this in the archives for future reference. You mentioned something that brought another question to mind in terms of finding illustrators. Do you specifically seek out whether it's a local illustrator or just somebody who, wherever they are, that can do the work?
So for Carla, I had no input in the illustration process at all. It was very much like a traditional publishing, where you write the story, the editor takes it, and the editor matches the illustrator. So the illustrators went through a similar workshop like us, week-long workshop, and then they were assigned a book. And my book was illustrated by the super talented Jason Campbell, who also has some stories, some published stories as well. So I had not seen Carla until it launched. I didn't know what she was going to look like until it launched. And when I saw her the first time, I cried, because he captured the essence of Carla so well. But for this, the second one, I do want to stick with a Grenadian illustrator. I mean, we already have we have a database of super talented artists and illustrators already. So I do want to stick with a Grenadian illustrator to do the second book, because I fully believe in creating work that is written and illustrated by Grenadians for our Grenadian children.
And I like that mission a whole lot. What can you tell us about the second book? Maybe what it's about, the main character, any little juice.
Any little juice. So the second book is about an adorable little puppy who tries to fly a kite.
Oh, what's his name? I can see him now. He's cute.
Yes. You've seen my dog Solo, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, I love your dogs.
Your dogs. That one, the inspiration, I didn't know what to write about, and he was in the yard. He was a puppy at the time, and he was in the yard carrying a coconut branch, and I just felt like, this is this is it. This is it.
You see how things have happened? I want to also ask about your family's influence in your career as an author. And most, if not everybody, know mommy and daddy by now. Brother. How much of an influence does your family have in your work as an author?
owe it all to them and teachers and everything. They had to buy the notebooks for me that I kept filling with stories, but they always encouraged the reading. And I guess because I have an older brother, whatever he was reading, I wanted to read it too. So it was reading was very much a part of my childhood growing up. And then when I decided in 2019 to leave my full-time job, which is something that you don't hear about all the time, to pursue my dreams of writing, they have been so supportive and continue to be so supportive of it. Like it wouldn't have been possible without their support. So thanks, parents. And then I'm sure your listeners know my dad. And so sometimes if I'm stuck on a sentence, hey, Dad, does this sound good to you? Hey, Dad, is this correct? So even though I'm the one with a degree in English language, I defer to him a lot too.
I like that. Parental family support is just so instrumental, especially for us in the Caribbean, and the parents always come through. So you just mentioned that you decided to leave your full-time employment in 2019, pursue your career as a writer. What was the deciding moment that you decided, okay, that is it, this 9 to 5 ain't working no more? And how has the last 2 years been in your journey to being a full-time writer?
Well, that was interesting, because when I left the job, the intention was to travel the world and write about it. And then the world closed.
Right, COVID.
But it was, I as a teacher, one of my strategies for really engaging with my students was to use story and to use storytelling. That is how I taught mundane topics. And that's how I made it fun and engaging. And I felt like I was telling the same stories, and I got tired of telling the same stories. I was tired of them, and I felt like it was time for me to go have new adventures and to write new stories. So that was where it stemmed from, my desire to tell more stories. And yeah, so I said, okay, I'm going to take a year off and travel the world. And then the world closed. So it 2020, like everyone else, it was an adjustment period, because I struggled with, I just left my job to go do this, and I can't. I mean, I'm grateful that I was in a position that I could still sustain myself, but I had to get over that hurdle of, so what now? What am I going to do now? How am I going to get out of this? And I struggled for a little while, and then I realized, well, I left to write stories, to tell stories. And there's nothing stopping me from continuing to tell stories. Just means that I have to find stories here to do that. I'll still make it out into the world at some point, but I need to focus on telling the stories here. So then I realized that I used to say that I wanted to be a Caribbean voice in the world, but now I want to bring the Caribbean to the world. And so I had to change my focus a little bit and work on, okay, what can I do here? Let's focus on here for a little while, and then maybe I'll make it out in the world to encourage Caribbean people to travel the world. But it's been an adjustment. The other day I said that someone asked, so what are you doing now? And I said, I'm a professional storyteller. Like, it's
I like that.
It's amazing to me that I'm making my living by writing, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to say that I'm finally doing what I wanted to do as a child. Like, I'm finally at that point where I can say, yeah, I'm living what I wanted to be when I grew up.
So which begs the question, what are you writing? How are you writing? Where are you publishing those writings?
So I have I do a lot of freelance work, so corporate writing. So it's not so much of the fun stuff, but I do a lot of corporate writing.
Okay, all right. It pays the bills, girl.
That's paying the bills, but
and then you still
still
put in
writing.
exactly, you still put in pen to paper. So now that the world is gradually reopening in the wake of the pandemic, what are your plans to get back to what you initially planned?
So I'm hoping that my my first big Adventures of an Island Girl trip, I have my eyes on Dominica. Have not been to Dominica yet, and I have my eyes on Dominica as my first Adventures of an Island Girl trip. And I've also been, I went to, and all of this is solo, so solo travel. If I could do New Zealand by myself, I could do Dominica by myself. So that's that I've got my little planning, have my spreadsheet open, planning and getting ready for.
Why Dominica? The nature island.
The nature island, it's one that I have not been to yet. It's one of the Caribbean islands that I have not been to yet. And while I am not particularly, athletic in terms of hiking and things like that, I really, don't laugh at me, Bassam. I really am fascinated by their tourism product and the nature. I don't want to go do only beach again. I have that hair. So let me go see some waterfalls and hike through trails that I haven't done yet, and
I like it.
Mountain chicken. I don't know. We'll see.
You'll report back on the mountain chicken part, eh? But I like.
I will. I will.
So, and tell us about the countries that you've been to especially for Adventures of an Island Girl. You mentioned New Zealand.
Yes. So New Zealand was my big trip before my first trip of the. I'm not doing a full-time job anymore. So I've been to New Zealand. I've been to Australia. I've been to Poland. Czech Republic, went to Prague. I've been to Barcelona, city in our country. Been to Greece, and then I traveled through the US a lot with work, and then Canada, France, England, islands. Yeah, when I was thinking about the gap year, what I was going to do, I wanted to hit every continent. And then I was like, maybe not. How about places where I don't need a visa to get to? Because there are about 130 countries that we can visit without needing a visa.
Right.
And then I got accepted to a writing program in Paris. So I was like, okay, well then I have to cut down the trip some more. So let's just hop around until I get to Paris. My bucket list is long.
I like it. I love the Adventures of an Island Girl. And in those adventures, what do you think are the opportunities for our local authors to be able to successfully market and get their books out there internationally? Because writing for a Grenadian audience is one thing, but how do you think our chances, or what are our chances of getting Australians to read Carla Dances Soca and love Carla Dances Soca?
Oh boy, that's a difficult question. I mean, this Carla Dances Soca is probably not the best example because these books aren't for sale.
Right.
But a lot of it is ensuring that the books are because a lot of the Grenadian authors are self-published. So ensuring that they are well written and well edited and so that is going to be the foundation of it. Ensuring that it is a product that is that you're proud of, and everybody's proud of their work, but making sure that it's something that is there's not a whole bunch of typos and things like that, right? But also especially in this time with the technology, networking. So for example, June was designated as Read Caribbean Month. and it was an entire month. It happened mainly on Instagram of reading Caribbean. So there are a lot of Caribbean bookstagrammers who, making partnerships with these Caribbean bookstagrammers and just bookstagrammers in general, and then also making relationships with the booksellers. So for example, there's this huge bookseller called the Book Depository, and so they sell all sorts of books. So it has to be, and they sell around the world. They offer free shipping too, which I find really cool. But and creating the relationships, because especially if you're not traditionally published with a publishing house, the publishing house makes all the connections for you. So if you're doing it on your own, then you have to do it. You have to forge those relationships. And that's the same thing with travel blogging and travel writing, is that it's all about the relationship building and relationship management. So you have to put yourself out there to make these connections.
All right. And where can we get Carla Dances Soca? And when can we expect the book inspired by Solo?
Ooh, pressure, Blossom, pressure. But so, like I mentioned, these books, the Grenada Schools Inc. Room to Read books, they're not for sale. They were distributed into all of the primary schools. But the digital versions are available online at Room to Read's website, and that's www.literacycloud.org. And on Literacy Cloud, if you search for the stories, and so they've got the stories from Grenada, and all 13 titles are there in PDF downloadable format, as well as they've got the stories from all the countries where they've published books. So I think Zimbabwe is the only country that's popping up at the top of my mind, but Grenada was the first English-speaking country to get books published.
Nice.
And the second book, that's my goal. My goal for the rest of the year is to get the book inspired by Solo out into the world.
All right, looking forward to reading about Solo. You have such cute dogs. She posts them on Facebook. What's the Rottweiler's name again?
Veda.
Veda. I love her.
So they have Star Wars names.
Oh, you're a Star Wars fan? Okay.
No, I've never seen a Star Wars movie.
So why they got Star Wars names?
And I have to blame my brother for that.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Alyssa, it was an absolute pleasure chatting with you this morning. Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Just to read Caribbean on Monday, the 12th of July. It's Caribbean Literature Day. Read Grenadian authors. There's a Grenadian Published Authors Association, and they do regular pop-ups with their book sales. David Ambrose, he always posts when the next one is going to be. So if you're not following him, follow him and find out when the next author pop-up is going to be, because let's encourage our Grenadian authors. Read Grenadian, read Caribbean, and just read.
I like that. Just read. As a reader, I encourage and endorse that statement. Just read. Alyssa, thank you so very much. It was a pleasure. Not disappointed at all. I love hearing about the adventures of an island girl, and I loved discussing this with you this morning. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Blossom.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. A Grenadian author, Alyssa Bierzynski. She has a book called Carla Loves Soca. If you'd like to read it, go onto the website www.literacycloud.org. Search the books and you will get the downloadable version of Carla Loves Soca. It's free, but don't expect the Adventures of Solo. I've given it a name for myself. Don't expect Adventures of Solo to be free, and not because. Don't try to tie us up. It's an expensive journey. So look out for that book coming up soon. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back inside with to wrap up this morning's program. We'll be right back.
Customer services, bill payment, revenue collections. We are open. NOASA's Lucas Street headquarters.
Come, we are excited to serve you.
NOASA, committed to meeting customers' needs.
Montreal, it's time to line virtually one more time. Gemma Rayburn Baines here for Spice Island Cultural Festival, a celebration of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This summer's festival is a celebration of life with food, fashion, music, and culture. Join us online Saturday, July 10th, 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube at Spice Island Cultural Festival. Info, spiceislandculturalday.com.
Get Rubigas. Get cooking. Rubigas, clean, safe, and reliable LPG is the perfect solution for your commercial and everyday needs. For cooking at home or barbecuing, choose Rubigas LPG cylinders. Available in a variety of sizes from 20 to 100 pound cylinders. Rubigas LPG, clean, safe, reliable. Are you cooking with Rubigas?
Get Rubis, get going. Waiting high up the ladder.
Hey, dog, you know what? Yes, man. Yes, man. You have to be from house, huh? All right. Which one you want? From house. Yeah, no problem. Nice. Good movie. Tonight. Watch when you have my bad come to 5 Shaolin Masters. Today, by the way, Fang Tiu, Cheng Kwan Chong, David Chan, T Long, and who Mafui and Shaq. I don't know how I really show you. They can do it on Sunday. Yeah, I like it. Got me out today? Yeah. Wait. Pete, a big man like you, but how are you chips away? Come, give me the money, man. Every time you come and speak your boy. Folks, join us this Friday on We Culture as we continue our entertainment series. Join me, Scholar, Doc, and of course, Reese will be there. See you then.
It's my day. Somebody say yeah. Thank God it's Friday.
All right, welcome back. It's time for us to wrap up and say goodbye. It's always a pleasure. And SJC girl, somebody in the WhatsApp telling me I didn't big up the high school girl last week. Leave me alone. Okay, I bias. All I know I bias. Hold on, let me fix my ring. All I know I bias from long. Why all this surprise? All I know I bias long. All right, thank you so very much for tuning into Good Morning Grenada and of course the showroom. Somebody on WhatsApp is inquiring if we will be carrying the cricket match this afternoon on Classic. That is the match between West Indies and Australia. I believe the game is scheduled to bowl off at 2 p.m. And I would confirm if we are. I believe we are. I think we have what is the word I'm looking for? Committed. We have committed to broadcasting the West Indies tour or the international tour of the West Indies for the games that they will be playing. So I believe we will be carrying the game this afternoon, but I will confirm and let you know WhatsApp. Yeah, that is it. So yes, Heather, so I'll let you know. All right, now let's go to a break. Remember, we have the BBC coming up at the top of the hour, the BBC's 8 a.m. newscast. Thank you so very much for tuning in to Good Morning Grenada. Thank you for tuning into the showroom. Enjoy the rest of your fantalocious, fantastic, fabulous Friday.
Since 8 o'clock this morning, I've been working all the way. Well, this life is so repetitive.